Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1266, 12 to 66, and you know 6 plus 6 equals 12. That's weird. All right, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Café Anyway and pointing out weird numerical oddities. The last place on Earth. Oddities. Mike Matthews, and today, Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster, and the interesting news segment called The Mike Tip.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Bunch of news going on, as you know. Trump decided to unleash a bunch of things that he'd been promising on the
Mike's Daily Podcast
campaign trail, as presidents are want to do. But something interesting happened to me while this was going down, and you should see how I got out of the taqueria I was sitting in and munching down on a delicious super burrito, and then all of a sudden I see on the TV Trump.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And he starts talking about building the wall and making Mexico pay for it and all that. And I
Mike's
said,
Daily
wow,
Podcast.
I'm white.
Yeah.
And I'm in a taqueria. And I noticed the cooks are watching the TV and getting on their cell phones because it was an open kitchen. And they were like calling people up saying, are you watching this? So it did not go quietly what he was talking about, especially in California. And when I got back to work after having this delicious burrito, and I started talking to someone who's a big Trump fan, and they're like, well, there are all these immigrants coming in, and that's why America is a big crater. And there's nobody living here anymore because they caused all this horribleness to happen. I thought, are you a Californian? Are you living here and realizing how the immigrant population has helped this state so much, is an integral part of this state, is a historical part of this state? And my mom still has her green card. She's not from Mexico, she's from Germany. But she is like the first one to start complaining about immigration and people coming into this country that shouldn't be here. And Mom, you've been in this country for over 50 years. Why haven't you ever become an official citizen? But that's neither here nor there or over there or behind me. It's Café Anyway. It's Mike Matthews. It's Trump saying, what's he say? Wait, why wasn't this on?
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively. Anyway.
And he just tweeted something about the Mexico deficit, like $60 billion. They have a deficit with us, so he's canceling the meeting that he was going to have with their president. The president of Mexico went on TV last night saying, no, we are not paying for this wall. So it's interesting because everybody's got their populist leaders that the country, all the people went, rah, 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 I hate the other countries. My country first. I'm electing this guy or this woman to say that. And all these nobody's going to talk to each other. Look who else just walked in. Oh, and a couple people came in, and I haven't talked to them. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. Hi, how you doing, Mike? What? Your ear is red. Yeah, someone's talking about me. My ear is red. No, literally, my right ear is like on fire. I don't know what's going on with it. I clean it. I keep it nice and swaddles. Swaddles are scary. I swaddle it every day. I give it a big swaddle, and I pamper my ear, and for some reason it's all red. Doc, I got some ointment you can put on that, y'all. Oh, thank you. Don't mention it. Where's Nelly? Right here. Where's your husband? He's there. Oh.
Hey, Mike. It's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you
What?
Trump is building a wall because we gotta keep all these immigrants out because they're causing all the problems. And they don't look like me.
That's racist, disgruntled fiddle player.
Well, they don't look like me.
Well, they're not white like you, no. But if we were all the same color, this would be a boring planet.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, think about that. Put that in your mind bowl.
All right. I will. I'll think about that. But I do think they should defund the Ira Glass and take off his expensive glasses. Defund the Ira glasses is what I am saying. Defund NPR now. This American life, it's more like this American...
Wow, that was good. It is like This American... No, it's called This American Life. It's a very popular show. Very popular podcast. People tell stories. They get in there, they tell stories, they play some cool music behind them. And it really gets into what's going on with you and me as Americans.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Me neither. But it's a popular show. So, if you are a Donald Trump supporter, and let's say you're a Democrat, are you a benefit of the doubter? Are you giving him the benefit of the doubt? And you're saying, nah, well, now we have to have a nice...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Podcast picture. We have to have a good transition of power. How long do you give him the benefit of the doubt and give that whole patriotic transition of power thing a ride? When he takes advantage of any little hole you give him, any little opening where he can bring in his Trumpness and say, Trumpity Trump. Or do you stay skeptical the whole time? I don't know. It's a question to ask. Maybe that wasn't the way to ask that question, but I got distracted with the podcast picture. The podcast picture today is of this really old truck that sits in front of a place called Santa Fe Cafe, which is the name of a show I used to have in Ventura on Kehe, which is like the only Cumulus station to be in the top 5 there in Ventura County anymore. The rest are all owned by, what's it called? Gold Coast, Clear Coast Channel? Something like that. Some local radio franchise in the Ventura County area. But Kehe is still around, still owned by Cumulus, even though they ruined the station. But I used to have a show on it for 11 years called the Santa Fe Cafe. And then one day I happened upon this restaurant called the Santa Fe Cafe. This was in Huntsville, Alabama, when I was working for Cumulus. And I saw this old truck in front of it, and I thought this would be a cool picture. See that picture now at mikesdailypodcast.com. So just letting Trump come into any orifice... I'm not wording things right today, am I? I need to go back and,
I like the way you say that.
Thank you. Finally, I was trying to eat at Panera. Oh, look who else just walked in.
Hi, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy. Have some delicious root beer.
Thank you.
Were you drinking my root beer at Panera?
No, they don't have your root beer there.
Oh boy.
No, I had one of their mochas, but they were out of whipped cream. Why are people out of whipped cream all the time? Do people underestimate the need for whipped cream in this world? I guess so. So I went in there and had that mocha and had a sandwich. It was free because it was like a gift card given to me for my birthday from work, which was very nice. Cumulus never did that. Just want to point that out. But yeah, I was sitting there and the tables at Panera are all kind of crammed next to each other because there's not a lot of room, and people love the Panera, especially because they have these kiosks now and you don't have to deal with the people ordering. You can just, and then there's all these custom choices you can make, and you can make all the custom choices without annoying somebody at the front that's writing all this down. You want what else, sir? Okay, sir, I'll write that down, sir. No, they don't call me sir there. I don't want them to call me sir. That would be very elitist of me. And I'm not really like that, because I listen to This American Life. No, what it is it's a convenience that you're going to see in more and more restaurants. of the fast food variety, which Panera is, although they bake their own bread and they supposedly do a bunch of little healthy artisanal things. But first off, there was an older couple sitting next to me that was complaining about Panera the whole time. Like, can you believe the way that woman acted? Can you believe the way that guy acted? Can you believe the way we were treated? And I'm like, this is a freaking fast food place. What are you complaining? This is basically a cafeteria. Don't harp on the help. Do you think the help likes serving you? You who's complaining all the time? And then when they left all their crap just everywhere. When they kind of ask you to bus your own table. It's sort of, they don't say it, but it's sort of implied because they've got the trash and everything all there for you to, the recycle stuff goes in this one. The trash goes in this one. The stuff that we don't know what to do with goes in this one. The plates go over here. They actually have a hole for china. You just throw the china into the, that would be the how come I'm turning into Jim Gaffigan? I don't understand. I'm Jim Gaffigan. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know why people are doing that. Why are they yelling so loud? But you're supposed to put all the plates in there, is what I'm saying. And then on the other side of me was these two well-dressed young guys talking to an older lady, and I guess they were trying to sell her something. I don't know, insurance, an annuity, a car, I don't know. They were on their laptop talking to her and having her fill out forms, and she was asking a bunch of questions. And then she finally left, and then the two guys are talking to each other, and one of the guys was sort of, I think he was learning from the other one. He was an apprentice or an intern or something. And then one of them gets on the phone, and they turn the do not do this. Tell your friends, do not do this. Do not ever turn your cell phone on to speaker when you're in public, surrounded by people in a closed space. Why people do this on BART, on our Bay Area Rapid Transportation System, or on a train, or you know, in a bus, or just in a theater or whatever. Why do you have the person on speakerphone? Why do you think that person on the other side that's calling wants their voice amplified throughout the room as if they were doing a podcast? Most people don't want to do a podcast. No, most people don't want to do this because it makes them feel uncomfortable. So why do you do? And then everyone's annoyed by hearing this tinny, awful voice coming through this small device. Not only that, this lady was lost and she was asking for directions, and the guy was telling her where to go, and she was asking a million questions. And I'm thinking, you're talking to him on your smartphone. Use the Google Map app. If you don't have a Google Map or Waze app on your phone, you're just dumb. That's amazing technology that's free, can get you anywhere you want to go. Just put it on your phone and be done with it. But this person everyone involved was just ridiculous. And I left Panera going, I will never go there again until I start craving their delicious Italian sandwich that they make. Oh, and you can put anything on it. That's a cool thing too. So that was not a plug for Panera. That was a total bashing of Panera. I love Panera. So the next time you are trying to think of something to buy someone, and you're thinking of maybe going on Amazon to buy it, go through mikesdailypodcast.com, click on that Amazon icon, buy whatever it is you're going to buy. It makes it's like it supports us. It's a good thing. There's also the PayPal. You can help us out that way and become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster. You'll get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters. And finally, there is the wonderful podcast pictures and interviews, all there at mikesdailypodcast.com. And now, the mic tip.
Yo, the mic tip.
Because we're living in a populist world, and I am a populism girl. Something. Well, one quick thing to point out about Trump and the thing. Okay, so the benefit of the doubters say, hey, It's un-American to be against Trump. Give him a chance. Don't be an anti-patriot. Shh. No. That's not that. And then the opposite of that is frightening, right? So right? Oh gosh, now I'm saying right? That's the thing is if America, it allows you freedom of speech. And Trump would be the first to defend that. A senior White House advisor to Donald Trump is registered to vote in 2 different states. What? As Trump is citing voter fraud, our wonderful Stephen Bannon, this according to The Guardian. And you know, Donald Trump yesterday, he called for an inquiry. Stephen Bannon registered to vote in New York shortly before the presidential election last year, after The Guardian disclosed that he was registered to vote at a vacant house in Florida, where his ex-wife had once lived. Bannon, whose registration lists a rented apartment in Manhattan as his address. That's interesting. A rented apartment. It's as if he knows he's got to keep moving because his life is on the up and up, and he's got to keep going wherever the job goes. I don't like that. I'm Jim Gaffigan, and I don't like it when people don't put down roots and enjoy a life. When you get to a certain age, you should start really considering putting down roots. He cast his ballot for Trump in New York, according to a source familiar with his arrangements, who is not authorized to speak to the media. Bannon, however, also remains registered to vote in Florida, according to state records. His registration lists as his address the home of Andy Badalato, a friend of Bannon's, who has worked on some of his political documentary films and has written for Breitbart News, the far-right website that Bannon controlled before entering the White House as chief strategist and senior counselor to the Presidente. His registration in Florida was moved to Badalato's home shortly after the publication of The Guardian report in August. Bannon has not cast a vote in Florida, according to state records. So he has not voted in 2 places, and he's not doing anything illegal. But they just point this out as interesting as Donald Trump is cracking down on voter fraud, where most of the country has said, and most of the experts have said, nope, there is no voter fraud. Why are you spending all this time and money on it, you crazy, delusional, right-wing reading, Breitbart News reading nut? Is what they're saying to the president. Oh, that's treason. Give him a chance. Give him the benefit of the doubt. And in other news, let's go a little tech here so I can put the tech tag on my podcast. Cisco Systems, Inc., where a friend of mine worked for quite a while, a couple friends of mine had worked, said Tuesday it has agreed to buy U.S. business software company AppDynamics, Inc., making one of its largest deals of recent years because it cost like $3.7 billion as it searches for growth beyond its core networking business. That's what Cisco does. They're all about networking. If you have a company, we're gonna make you network. Cisco has been trying to shift their strategy to stay ahead of technology developments such as the rise of cloud computing that could otherwise threaten their core businesses. Cisco's announcement comes a week after Hewlett-Packard, HP, said it would buy cloud startup Simplicity for it's like Simpla, then capital V, Vidi. Simply Vidi. I like that name. But that will not be the word for today's podcast name. It will be Populist. That's how I feel. Populist is the word today. The word of the day. And so HP will buy that cloud startup, SimpliVity, for $650 million in cash. President Donald Trump's plan to incentivize U.S. companies to repatriate their overseas cash could spur a new wave of deal-making for large tech companies like Cisco, say analysts. Let's see. Cisco made an offer. The AppDynamics will become part of Cisco's Internet of Things and Applications unit. Goldman Sachs advised App Dynamics. The deal, which is a mix of cash and equity, is expected to close by April. The end. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Well, that was an interesting show, wasn't it? We kind of dipped into the world, saw America from all kinds of different angles. Talked about a bread fast food company place. And talked about how people are just slobs. But that's what makes America great, isn't it? Any final words, Disgruntled Fiddle Player?
Yeah, I've changed my ways. I'm gonna eat more bread.
Good. So next show it will be Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.